Hello and welcome to the Hard Questions. I'm Solomon Serwanja. There's a lot going on in this country. Just last week, another person was gunned down. An Indian was shot by a police officer. Before that, blogger Isma Ichuli was also gunned down. But earlier, another minister was gunned down by his guard. A lot is going on in this country, bringing back the discussion of security. Are you safe? Are we safe? Will someone just walk by your side and shoot you? There's a lot of worry and fear amongst the population. And we're back to actually ask the tough questions about our security. On this episode, I host Brigadier General Felix Kulayigye, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Defense. He's also the spokesperson for the UPDF. Brigadier General Felix Kulayigye, it's such an honor to have you again. I know I've hosted you before, but thank you so much for allowing to speak to us again.
Well, do I have a choice? Yeah, most welcome, Solomon.
Thank you very much, General. Yeah. General, are Ugandans secure? Of putting in perspective of what's happening in this country, the shootings, every single person who has lost their lives in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 7 days. Ugandans are worried.
Actually, statistics you have given, you have forgotten the security guard of Machindia.
Yes.
And then another one in Arua, who was also shot while on duty. It's a matter of concern, certainly. Are Ugandans safe? Yes, they are. You see, criminality does not have a season or a border. However, we need, as we look at this, the current happenings, we need to open our mind as we interrogate, as we question these developments. What are we dealing with? In my humble view, to answer your question, we are dealing with the following scenarios. 1, the people who are joining security forces. Security forces, I'm including Sochiriko, these private guards. What is their mindset when they are joining these agencies? So this increase in criminality will bring me to the number 3. I was first dealing with number 1 to show that because people have not been nurtured to face challenges of life, now when they come to the real world, challenges overwhelm them. Are you getting me? I've just been counseling a lieutenant who has 3 loans, is in school, children are in school. So what is she going to do? I've just been counseling the individual. We have challenges that have demands on us. Our incomes can never be limited even if they paid you 100 million. Your expenditure, your demand curve will also shift. Are you getting me? So you find even the 100 million is not sufficient. So the point lies in your preparedness to deal with the challenges you are facing. Because they will be there anyway, whether you like it or not. All right? Because I can tell you by 2001, we were only 24 million. Now, 45 in 20 years. What does it show you? We are producing, we are manufacturing ourselves without producing concurrently for economic purposes. And so you have a bulge of unemployed young men and women. 2, you have even those who are employed are disguisedly unemployed, because these border guys that's disguised unemployment. So when you have such a scenario, the economy is not growing at the same pace as the population. You have people who are not working, even those who had what to do sold their pieces of land, bought borders and came to town. So when they meet these challenges I'm talking about, they can't cope. Someone decides not to work. You have, don't know, they have seen on the streets, 8 a.m., people on the roadside discussing Arsenal, Chelsea, Man U. What do they eat? They want a good phone, they want to dress well, they want to have a girlfriend.
Yeah, but let's talk about the people who have guns here. People who you have said have been nurtured.
That's where I'm going.
And I've had you build up the case of, you know, nurturing the criminality.
Yes.
But these are the same people, like you said, they're the people that society gives you.
Correct.
And we expect that when the UPDF or the security forces recruit people, they take them through the process of recruitment and the training. By the time you actually graduate as a soldier or as a police officer, you must have gone through strict training that will then make you fit for that uniform, and you have to earn it, and therefore deserve to be given a gun. Does it therefore speak to your recruitment process that you are recruiting people who are not ready to actually hold a gun?
Now,
that you can easily be taken away with the pressures of this world to actually shoot someone because perhaps you have your own problems as a whole. As an army, you have a discipline. You have put in place rules and regulations that soldiers have to follow, especially when you have a gun.
yes.
Yeah, so despite the fact that society has given you this crop, we actually count on you as the army or as the security forces to actually train people to that level that they now deserve to have a gun to protect us, because that's your job.
You are very right. Absolutely right, and society is ready to demand, to expect that of us. But why was I building this? Did you see a video of a 12-year-old boy who had damaged everything in the house because the mother had removed the phone from him? Did you? It went viral. 2, I had a case of a woman who called me, and she said she wanted to put her son in an army boarding school. I said, why? She said, he has defeated me. How old is he? 9 years. Those are the guys who grow up and come to the army. What was the upbringing? This fellow is used to having everything he wanted. So there is no, there is no restriction, there is no what. Such individual can't face challenges of life. Now, why did I bring this one? You have raised a child in that form for 20 years, 22. Okay? He comes to join the army. The reason we demand for a letter from LC1, we expect society to know the character of this child coming to join the army. So, LCs give them letters. Many of them write about people they don't know, because we are now living in perimeter wars. A. B. They something kidogo, and the first is given a good recommendation letter. So once we see an LC letter, we see academic papers, we check your health, run 3 kilometers, you come back, you don't have HIV, you don't have diabetes, you don't have TB, you know, those serious diseases. So you qualify. All right? But inherently, what is your character? The people who know it have let you come without cautioning that actually this person has these issues. Now we train you for 9 months. 20 years, you live a certain life. You expect us to break that in 9 months?
No, but yeah, but on that point, thanks for bringing up the issue of welfare, because it was right up to my next question. But let's go back to the question that you were advancing to the issue of welfare. So in terms of training, what you're telling us is that it is not enough in 9 months to change them, but yet you believe that they deserve to be given a gun.
No. You see, when you are in training, you exhibit good conduct, right? Yeah. We give you the dose, we know that we make you a soldier. I don't know you're getting me.
Yes.
But as we are building your character as a soldier, to transform you from a civilian to a soldier, there is a hidden character we do not yet have knowledge about. Your upbringing. Solomon, check with psychiatrists, check with elders, they will tell you. One's upbringing plays a big role when he or she grows up. And for me, I'm insisting on this because where am I coming from? A parent, a teacher, and an African raised by an African man. I know what he carried me through. You know, a parent exposing you to hardships deliberately. In Israel, there are times when they hide sugar or blue band from a child. Why? In life, certain things may be difficult to get. I don't think you see where I'm coming from. But now you have, and the majority of these who are joining the army are children of middle class, by the way. I walked to school, I carried my suitcase and a basin on the head. I drove my children to school. Do you think our mentality is the same? So I must take time to show them the other side of actual life. But when now I join in and I have grown up, when I'm driven to school, I'm given everything I need. After military training, I expect the other life to continue. Now when I can't afford it myself, I can even report to you, some parents supplement their incomes. So a young man is denied a chance to grow mentally. This is the situation we're dealing with. Now, we are expected to instill discipline. We do. We are expected to supervise. We do. All right? However, we have another challenge that we are now correcting. Our accommodation. Because we are scattered in the population. In the barracks, you have somebody who mechanically controls discipline. Okay? But even in the barracks, some are able to escape and go to drink. That's human nature. Is that an excuse for us? No. So, what does that mean? We must improve on our supervision. We must improve on our monitoring. But 3, we have got another challenge. You know, ordinarily, unless somebody examines you, you may not know you have a mental challenge. Would you know? And so some of them actually bring are mentally not stable. But this running and coming back will not reveal that.
So you may need to review the training.
Not only we need to review the training, we have had to introduce a directorate of psychosocial support.
We're going to get there. Let's talk about the issue of welfare. I had someone who called me last week and told me, you don't have to know who I am. I'm a soldier. And that person told me he was angered when he saw you talking about welfare of soldiers, saying, I saw Brigadier Felix Kulayigye saying that the soldiers are paid well, they get everything.
But those were not my words.
Okay, perhaps you were saying that the soldiers have great welfare. Okay, welfare is catered for. And he was telling me he gets, I don't know, 2 cups of posho or 3 beans, you know, and a small like water bottle, oil. And he said, can you imagine? That is what we have to survive for a whole week. It's basically not enough. And, you know, our children have to go to school like your children. We have to feed well, like you feed. We are part of you, but we are not getting... Basically, he was trying to tell me that the life of a soldier is different from a civilian life, and yet we're all humans. And therefore, our issue of welfare should be taken into thought by the army. And he mentioned that we are also humans like you. So sometimes when we snap and do things that perhaps we wouldn't have loved to do, but because of the situation that we're in. Let's talk about the welfare of soldiers, especially those who are in the field, General.
First of all, I would wish to go step by step on those things you have mentioned of welfare. I mentioned that they get food, right?
Yeah.
He does not dispute that, except he says it's not enough. That's a different matter. That's at implementation level, which needs to be interrogated why he's not getting enough.
How much food do you give these people, General? Especially those in the field.
Now that is for logisticians. Yes, I don't know how much they
But
give.
you were a soldier.
Yes, I am. And I don't get that food because as a general, I look after myself. Actually, my personal food, I give it to my escorts. That's a fact.
But and you have risen through the ranks, so you clearly know how much food a private gets, a corporal gets.
When I was in the north, I was depending on that food. All right?
Yeah.
I would get my ration. Every soldier has a ration entitled to, calculated.
Depending on your rank.
Depending on your rank, but also depending on your being a human being. There are kilograms of posho, kilograms of beans, cooking oil that you are entitled to. Now, it's very true. It's not enough. Why? The resource envelope. You know the Uganda say atamukuta yagamba mega tugende. When you are not managing the budget, you can never understand what means catering for 54,000 soldiers, so many LDPs, to pay, to buy food, one, to buy uniforms, two, to buy fuel, to pay salaries. And the salaries, the wage bill is planned right from Parliament. Actually, our biggest budget goes to the wage bill. Now, the 485,000 shillings the soldier gets for a private certainly can't be enough to cater for his demands. However, my quarrel with ourselves, there is UPE, there is USE. You choose as an individual to take your children to a private school. I'm sorry, there is something I cannot shy away from. That I will accept a soldier who is taking his child to a private school to complain about school fees. Because a choice you have made. It means you planned for it. You see, it's high time we dealt with the tough questions as you're asking me at individual level. When you are choosing to take your child to a private school, did you think about the school fees? Did you think about your income? So they may get annoyed with me, but these are facts. Because when I take a child where I'm going to pay 500,000 shillings per term, and my salary is 485, where am I hoping to get the difference? On the question of ration, I've told you, it's a matter we must investigate because they are entitled to food. Adequate, the word is adequate. 3, we have medical centers where we go for treatment, including we are here. So when you talk about medical bills, which ones are you talking about? And so, when you have medical bills that are beyond, for instance, they may prescribe a medicine which they don't have, all right? There people would be right to complain. But this, let me use this platform. For a private soldier, for a lieutenant to take a child in a private school, you must think twice. You must innovate extra sources of income because salary can never be enough. Let me just give you an example. A girl in Gaza High School now is paying almost 3 million shillings. Actually 4, not even 3. Gaza High School. So even if you are a commissioner or a general like me, you can't sustain that child. Because she's not alone, the others you pay for with the salary. So, my point of contention, of argument rather, is that the matter of welfare, there are basics we are entitled to. Food, salary, Medicare, education for children. In principle and in reality, these things exist. And for us, that's where the welfare question is. But are they also telling you that some of us, our lifestyles are extravagant?
I'm just looking at a private soldier who is in the field and has a wife, maybe they don't stay together in the barracks.
They don't.
So you have a spouse that you've left behind, you have children, you're out there, you're working hard, you have to depend on salary of 485,000 to actually make sure that you sustain your family back home, make sure that the kids are in school.
Our expectation as a ministry and UPDF, if I'm in the field where I'm looked after, my ATM stays with my wife. Are you getting me? But now where I decide to begin taking loans from money lenders, when the army has steps to guide you, 1, 2, you have already borrowed from Wazalendo. When you are taking on a loan from a money lender who takes not less than 10% of what you have borrowed, how do you expect to pay this money? You're actually opening an avenue or a door for more stress. You know, the question of living in your means. Now, number 4, and this I have been not mentioning it, we have actually introduced a fund for spouses, a fund for soldiers' wives to use and make things for sale. In the Bombo it exists, in Katavi it exists, in Kachiri it does. I'm going to mention those that I can talk of CAF. I mean, we have tried. But as you know, what about the entire country? How is it?
Yeah, and quite honestly, I hear you, and I'm also trying to understand the position of this soldier who is in the field and has all this.
I understand it.
Yeah, and all this is wearing down on him, and he is carrying a heavy load, thinking about the survival of his family, his children, and you've been there.
You know what
and that means it comes with some mental health challenges.
I agree.
Just like me and you. Do you care for the mental health of these soldiers?
We do. But before you go to mental health, you know, you're talking to me as if I started as a general.
No, that's why I was saying you've risen through the ranks.
I was a private soldier, earning 1,945 shillings per month. I had a wife. When I would visit her in Uganda, she would be there to give me transport back. I mean, that's why I told you about the upbringing. 2, that's why I talked about the reason why you have joined. It makes you have the stamina to meet these challenges of life. But 3, most importantly, advice from superiors. Because in the military, unlike you in a civilian where you have to face everything alone, when I have a challenge as a soldier, I'm supposed to talk to my superior about the challenge I face. And it's his responsibility to counsel me, to guide me. If he can't, he hands over to the next. Are they doing it? If they are doing it and the superiors are not doing their work, that's why I talked about supervision. But the reality is, we are not living in isolation. We are in the same country where you are facing challenges that I'm facing. Someone will see you in a suit and think you are well off, but what you are sitting on, you are the one who knows best. So, I want to tell you that the narrative of welfare comes from the guys who shot that video in Chanja. Because Sabri did not say anything that anybody heard, because there was nobody near. Are you getting me? It's a narrative created deliberately for political reasons. And you can see now it is the subject of debate for over a month. The matter of welfare concerns us. Because these soldiers are not machines. Number one. Number two, when they are not happy, they don't perform well. Three, when they are actually not happy, stress levels go up. So they can commit crime, as some have done. But what are we talking about? Averagely, how many are we talking about, for example, since they have begun? If the issue of welfare was the question. It's individual weaknesses that meet these challenges, and you are not confiding in your superiors for counseling, you go it your way. You have 3 loans. I can't take them on. At my level, I can't take on 3 loans. Is it because I'm capable? No. But I know the consequences. I'm going to carry a burden I will not be able to carry. So, the Swahili say kupanga ni kuchagua. In planning, you must choose how you are going about your life. I appreciate these guys have challenges. But equally, some of them are producing beyond our expectations. Somebody has served 10 years, he has 6 children. How? What does that show you? There's an issue with the lifestyle. There is a sergeant in this army. The last count in January this year was 70 children. I mean, let's be honest. Some of these things we have been silent about them, but we are coming out because we are being pushed on the wall. How do we live? Are you aware when an African live alone in the army, an extra pay means an extra girlfriend or a wife? We must face reality as a country. As society, we must deal with these things face to face and hard on.
Yeah. And of course that comes with responsibility and mental health.
Absolutely. So now mental health, that's why I was bringing you this building and I come to mental health.
Yeah.
Because of what I mentioned earlier of the causes or reasons for joining, we were hardened. When a political commissar stood before you and said chama chinapanga, that government is planning for you, you are contented, went about your business with morale. Today you can't tell a soldier chama chinapanga. With social media, with what? She's seeing what is being done on the budget. He understands what we are getting. But he does not understand also that this resource envelope will be done to buy the tank he's going to use. This money will have been allocated will be done to buy a jet and a jet fuel. So the money we receive is not only to go to our pockets. It caters for material, the things we use to execute war.
Yeah.
Now, the current generation is even lucky compared to us. Of course, the pay has been raised, and there is hope with increased revenue. We hope this financial year they will increase again. The coming financial year, I mean. We have missions now abroad, and I'm driving towards mental health. Now, these missions, like the one in Somalia, has physical challenges that affect the mind. The climate is very hostile. 2, you're expecting Al-Shabaab to kill you any time. 3, you're not living with your family for 9 months or 12 months. That increases stress levels. Now, if you are not seasoned like some of us, that's why I started from there. These take a toll on your mind. So we saw that growing. We introduced a department of social psycho support. It's headed by a psychiatrist with a master's degree, Brigadier General Dr. Chen. He has a team of psychiatrists who have distributed now across the country and in Somalia. Reason, anybody who exhibits symptoms of a mental challenge, we counsel. Those who become sick, they have been taken to Butavika or we are managing in our hospitals. So yes, we mind about their mental health. But you see, there must be somebody to notice my change of behavior. Kulayigye is normally talkative. Why is he quiet now?
That's your supervisor.
That's the supervisor. Now, if you do not exhibit any challenge, any symptom, some people may not know. And then all of a sudden, you snap. So that's why, for us, we are saying, when an action like that on Sabit happens, then first investigate, because you may draw wrong conclusions and leave the right cause.
On that note, are you proceeding with the investigation?
Oh yes, we are.
Where are we?
There is a probe which was appointed by the CDF, headed by Brigadier General Abdul Gumayo. They have not yet submitted the report, so I can't tell the details now. But the report must be submitted, because we owe it to the country, we owe it to the family of the late Ngora, we owe it to the family of Sabit. The country must know what happened. But like I asked you, if the question is welfare, how many incidents have we recorded in the army? In 6 months, 1. So, and is it unique to UPDF alone? No. In the US, a major killed 16 of his colleagues on parade. A major. So there's nothing.
It has to do with?
It has to do with the conditions you have gone through, but most importantly, your character formation.
Yeah. And of course also your mental health. But thanks. Let's talk about, do we have guns in the wrong hands? Yes. General, we have guns. This country has guns. It scares me. Police officers, the UPDF, the security companies. Guns.
Solomon, this country has gone through instability, civil wars. Okay? We had groups that are operating in the central region here. UFM, FEDEM. Then you had the final war of 1985, where some individuals in the UNRF of General Moses Ali, some were able to sneak in the villages and abandon guns. UFM, when they were defeated in 82, they abandoned the guns in the villages, Wachiso and MPG. So yes, they are guns because of the conflicts you have gone through. 2 or 3, you have small arms proliferation in this region. It's a problem in Kenya, it's a problem in Uganda. 4, we are surrounded by conflict-prone countries. Guns are not controlled. South Sudan, guns are sold in the market. Turkana, Pokot are still armed. South Sudan, in Equatorial region and to the west, they are armed groups fighting. Even yesterday, there are fellows who attacked Moyo with a gun and the bows and arrows. The army had to react. You have DRC with over 100 rebel groups or armed militias. Yes, they are guns in wrong hands. And we must continue vigilance. And I'm coming to your role as society. 5, there are individuals who felt having a gun is a fashion. I am sure you have heard of those who go to a bar and put it on the table. Civilians who have gotten these guns through legal means. They applied and they were given. So yes, they are guns in many hands, and something that's very serious.
Yeah, the reason why I came to this, General, is because this is not the first time, these shootings are happening. The president started a campaign of fingerprinting firearms.
We have.
Has the UPDF completed its exercise?
The UPDF has completed, police has completed.
Prisons also did complete.
Prisons has completed, that's right.
The UPDF has...
We have completed our guns, they are fingerprinted. And that's why I'm telling you, those who are doing the criminal shooting from the UPDF are accountable. Accountable. But we are justified to be worried. But do we compare ourselves with others? What's happening there?
Yeah, but you see, when you have an army that and the security system that gives you this confidence that you have to, we got you. Like yourself.
That's very true.
This is we swore ourselves to our death that we will protect you.
Solomon, very true.
This was your promise.
Very true. Doctors take a Hippocratic oath to save life. But how many have neglected patients because they have not been able to pay the money? As long as human beings have a criminal element in them, these things can happen. The question is, to what level? Number one. Number two, what steps do you take to avert the following incident or another incident that would have happened? Let's not talk as if we are coming from heaven. These things are happening even in other countries. The difference, I can give you example. The difference, we are too open. For us, everything goes the media. Do you hear anything from our neighbor's house? Do you? You think they don't happen? Two, in Tanzania, community security is very high. The population has foundation security, and that's what we are lacking in this country. Vigilance of the population. When you step in Tanzania, anywhere in any corner, the authorities have known. Here, a person will live in a place for a whole year. The community has not done its part. Two, therefore, the community is supposed to be our eyes and ears, because we can't be everywhere. So we promise to protect you, but we must be given cooperation from the population. But I will give you an example. I was being told of a story where a community is being harassed, being robbed by somebody's son, whom when they take to police, whoever has reported him becomes now the outcast of the village. So let the population play its part.
I agree with you.
But on our part, like I said, there's no excuse. We must check ourselves about discipline, for starters. Number two, supervision.
Okay. General, people have been gunned down. People have been gunned down before.
Yes.
The country has lost so many people who have died to the gun. Prominent figures.
Correct.
Have you come out as a country, as a security agency or as the army, or to tell Ugandans who is behind these killings openly?
For the preventive persons, I don't think we have. Kagezi, Kaweesi, Kiggundu, Abiriga, I don't think we have. But you know, this is a matter which was handled by our sister agency, the police. On our part, we always come out. Those who were gunned down by the guy who was gunned down by SFC, the president himself came out, said he was killed by my soldiers. You remember?
Yeah.
So for our part, we promised to protect life and property. We have done what we can do. Are there some failures? Mistakes have been done. But like I was telling you, as part of the bigger society, there are challenges even outside. Of course, we are a center of focus because of our oath and what is expected of us as protective agency. But admittedly, some individuals have gone errant. For me, I think, like all the other challenges we faced before, the Bijambia in Masaka, the killing and the raping of women in Wachiso and Entebbe, even this matter, we may need to examine even more. But the other questions, are we seeing some insurgency maybe emerging?
General, I don't know, but what I know is that the public deserves to know who is behind this.
Solomon, give us time to investigate and see. But two, on our part also, I will take this chance to say we need to pull up our socks as well. It's no longer life as usual. If our own go against the law, then there is a matter to be tough about.
Certainly.
Yes, and I want to assure you, this incident we have been discussing is going, you will see a change in many areas. I assure you of that one. Because certainly, we must interrogate some of these things. Are we doing what we are supposed to do before we deploy these individuals on individual missions? Because that's another area. When you are deploying a soldier for attachment or secondment, there is a way you are supposed to brief him. Are we doing it? All these things we are interrogating internally already. And I think you are seeing some movements. I don't have to go into details.
Yeah, because I mean, the public is vulnerable. Doesn't have a gun. Someone just comes and shoots at you in cold blood. I looked at the CCTV footage for the Indian that was shot, and I was quite disturbed that someone comes into a facility, opens his gun, cocks it, and starts shooting.
First of all, how would you allow an armed person to enter a financial facility? I have been asked for my gun wherever I have gone. Why was this one allowed to enter with his gun? Come on. I mean, certain failures are not ours. This is a financial facility. It has actually a security guard or a security guard. How come this policeman enters armed? You want to blame the police for this guy being armed inside your facility? Because if he was disarmed and he refused, then you don't allow him in. So that's failure on the ground. Are you getting me? There are issues we should not ignore. And that's why I talked about community alertness.
So you're saying that the security guards would disarm a general?
They do. They have asked us for our guns before. Security guards. And it would be indiscipline for me not to cooperate with this guy. He's doing his duty. But I have known also civilians who are armed and they refuse to surrender their arms on the door. And for me, that's an incident to report. So and so was asked to surrender his arm and he refused. So please, the Ugandan public, wake up. Because time has not yet come for the lamb to lie in the lion's den. Criminality is everywhere. The solution does not lie in finger pointing. The solution lies in a collective responsibility. We have our failure on our part. Ugandans as a public has also failure on their part.
I think that you and your army and the government needs to reassure Ugandans. I'll tell you the truth, General. Everyone is scared. Tomorrow it could be you, it could be me.
Do you know why everyone is scared? The media. The level of publicity social media gives crimes. Like they were saying yesterday in Rubaga Cathedral, how I wish we were using the same way to communicate messages of love, messages of development. This country would be far. 2, we have become so creative negatively. These narratives are created. They are not reality. 3, the tongue. How are we using our tongues?
General, lives are lost here.
Yes, and that's why I'm serious on it. That's why I'm serious on it. You know, we need to look at everything collectively. I mean, wholesomely. I have told you, you are concentrating on a consequence. But there are causes.
Okay, General. Moving forward, what are you doing within the army structures right now to prevent what happened to the minister who was gunned down by one of your own?
Like I said, we are doing internal examination. Are people doing trained adequately? The answer is yes. Are we doing supervision? We are yet to answer that question. Adequate supervision. 3, are we receiving people who are mentally stable? Because we have been relying on LOCs to recommend. We are discovering some of the recommendations are not true. They recommend somebody whom they even don't know. Now 5, how could we have avoided that incident? Having said that, Way forward again, vigilance in the population. Because the population sees things faster before we even see them. Because we can't be everywhere. But lastly, my assurance is that we are certainly doing our best to improve our performance. But two, it's not isolated to Uganda. There is a general societal problem we must deal with. Because we are coming to recruit cadets from you. Check the people you are going to give us. Because if I have been a rogue in the village, or have been stubborn in the school and I was even expelled, when you send me to the army, you are even giving me more power. The individuals I've seen who had issues in their schools, and they never changed, they became problems in the army. Some of them have since gone to the Creator. So it's important that we follow the discipline as people are growing up before we allow them in our army. It is your army. It is you to tell us this person is fit to defend me or he is not. Before you begin blaming us, check whom you have given us. What's the caliber? What's the quality? Because the strength of any country comes from the quality of its officers and the men.
What a way to conclude it. Brigadier General Felix Kulayigye, thank you for speaking to us.
My pleasure, sir.
I've been speaking to Brigadier General Felix Kulayigye on the state of Uganda's security. I'm Solomon Serwanja, and this is The Hard Questions.